Hey there. So, good evening to all of you. I'm jumping on here to make my Monday live. And what I'm talking about today is I got a question for you about your work life. If somebody deposited $100 million in your bank account tonight, or if there was a glitch in the system or something just happened, and there was $100 million that showed up in your bank account tonight, would you, and you saw it and you knew it was there, would you set an alarm and go to work tomorrow morning? Would you? Would you like get up and go to your work? Would you even call them and tell them I'm not coming in if you wouldn't? I mean, what would you do? Most people would not. Most people I know, this makes me think about it because I hear about it all day, almost every single Monday. And I've made another live about this is that, most people, on Mondays are really, really kind of blue and kind of like, it's Monday, and they're looking like, I got the whole week. And I mean, this week, we do have in the United States a holiday. Many people are off on Friday, so it's a shorter week. So, that could be affecting people not feeling that. But in general, what I usually hear from people on Monday mornings or Mondays during the day is, oh God, I got to go to my job. So if you had an alarm, if you had the $100 million in your bank account tonight, would you set that alarm for tomorrow morning? Most people wouldn't. Most people wouldn't. And that's exactly why Monday hurts the most, because you're doing something that if you won the lottery or had $100 million, you wouldn't do. And here's the thing. A lot of people are like, why do I hate it? Why do I hate going to my job? Why, or not even hate it? Why, some people don't go to their job. Go to their job and they think, it's really a good place. I get paid pretty well. Hey, hi. I feel like I shouldn't not want to be there. I feel like I ought to want to be there because I have a team and they're trying to help me, but I still don't want to go to work. I don't want to go to my job. And they're the same people that would say, if I got $100 million, I wouldn't go to work the next day if it was just landed in my account. I'd love to hear from you all. If $100 million was in your account and you saw it tonight, like right after this live, right when you were getting ready to do, go to bed or whatever you're getting ready to do, would you go to work tomorrow morning? Would you set your alarm and would you still go to work? Yes or no? Yes or no? Let me know. And a lot of people that would say, no, I wouldn't go. Yeah, that's not my favorite place. I've got the blues. I've got the Monday blues. Yeah, hi, good evening. They tell themselves, well, the reason, even though I should like it, the reason I don't like it, and really, if if you could publicly say this and you wouldn't go, why? Why don't you like going to work? Why don't you like your job? A lot of people blame like, oh, I hate my boss. My boss is the worst, or my coworkers are creeps and they're just, whatever, or I hate the commute. Anybody hate the commute? I hate traffic. I hate that commute too. Or, it's corporate and I'm helping somebody else make the money. I'm not, building my own. Oh God, Mondays are all days full of crisis. It's all the meetings, all of those things. And the truth, let's just be honest. Some of that stuff is annoying. You may have annoying co-workers. You may have, a boss who's a creep that you can't stand. You may have, all of the meetings all day Monday, and you just can't, put up with it because you've had a great weekend and you were rested, and now you're in these stress meetings. Have you ever noticed when I was, and I don't work corporate anymore, but I would still set an alarm I probably wouldn't set an alarm because I don't really set an alarm anyway, but I probably would do what I do anyway. If I had $100 million, I'd just go bigger because I work for myself, right? But there were days where like Monday was like, we talked about the same thing every single meeting. It's like, could we get out of the soap opera? Anybody have that experience? Like you're at work and the meetings are every Monday or every Tuesday or whatever they are, and we never resolve anything. We just keep, it's like we talk about the same thing. Okay. So all of those things might just be annoying, and it probably is, but I want to tell you the truth, and I want you to think about this with me this evening. I don't think that's the real reason, even though that stuff is happening. I don't think that if you got $100 million and decided not to go to your job tomorrow or your work or whatever, that all of those reasons, it's your boss, your coworkers, you can't stand the, place, you don't like the commute, is the real reason. I think, and I'm not even think, I'm telling you, the truth of this is, we spend most of our lives, let me write this down and remember this. I spend most of our lives at work. We spend most of our lives at work. So, and you're going there every day, 5 days a week, or maybe more, and you're making yourself spend the best hours of your life doing something that doesn't light you up. The reason you don't like Mondays and you don't like the beginning of the week, and the reason you get those Monday blues, is because you're going somewhere, even commuting to get there. You're spending lots of time there, maybe around some people you don't really like or care about, in meetings and talking about stuff that doesn't light you up. Yep, you could also use that time praying and praising God. Absolutely, while you're at work, absolutely you could. It's kind of hard sometimes because you've got things you got to get accomplished. You can be praying while you do it. Yes, absolutely. But you know what? You're going somewhere that it doesn't light you up, and you still go and you show up. And why? Why do you show up? Because the paycheck matters, right? You need the money. I hear it all the time. I got to go to work. I don't want to go to work, but dude, I need the money, right? Because I got bills, I got kids, and having this, it matters, right? And there's truly nothing wrong with that. Truly. I mean, going somewhere that doesn't totally light you up, it's what we do, and so that we can pay our bills and take care of our kids and have security, there's nothing wrong with it. But the truth is, inside, like in your heart, your soul knows something. Your soul knows and is screaming out, oh my gosh, this is one day with a lot of hours, and there's going to be another day, a Tuesday with a lot of hours and all the things, and your soul knows this isn't what I was created for. That is the rub. That is what causes your Monday blues, your tension. It's the tension. Going somewhere and spending a lot of time with the idea that your soul's going, but wait a minute, you're going again today, you're fighting traffic, you're seeing these people, but this isn't what I was created for, this isn't my purpose, this isn't my calling. And so, yeah, somebody says they do landscaping and pray a lot during the day. So yeah, you've got the kind of job where, while you're doing the things, you can be praying. That's cool. And maybe landscaping for you is what you've been called to. I was with this guy this weekend who came over. Where am I from? I'm from the United States. Yes, from the south of the United States, as if you can tell from the way I speak. So I had this guy that came over, and he was here at my house over the weekend to do some like odd jobs, right? And he was getting started doing them. And then part of the odd jobs was doing some weeding outside, like with a weed eater, and doing some landscaping, to speak to your kids, landscaping stuff. He started working on this, and he was fast. It was beautiful. It was clearly what he did best. Landscaping for this guy was what he was called to do. And I actually ended up hiring him to do my entire yard and to do all the things. And he was amazing, and he loved it, right? It wasn't like he was there not liking it. So what you're called to do could be many other things. What I'm called to do can be different than what your purpose is. God made us all to fit together in this, beautiful puzzle to bring some real gifts and services to the world. And that is the beautiful thing, is not all of us are alike. We have different gifts and different talents. And let's see what you're saying. United States is Mr. Big. Mr. Beast, yes, he's a big YouTuber, absolutely. So, why do you feel guilty about it? I mean, like, okay, so I said, if you had $100 million deposited in your bank account, would you go to your work? Would you go to your job tomorrow morning? And most of you no, and most people would say no. And why do you think you're in the middle of going to your job and you're thinking, well, I have this job. I should really be I really should feel grateful. And I'm feeling a little guilty that I'm not more grateful. I have this job. It pays me. I make good money. I make really good money at my job. And then, I do hear these comments too. I don't know why I get like, I don't want to go. My job really isn't that bad. I know exactly what to do and know how to do it. And this is exactly the reason that it's confusing, because you don't really hate your job. Like, follow me here. Are you tracking? You don't hate your job. You don't hate going there. But the reason that you don't want to show up there is because you hate that your life depends on your job. And instead of your life depending on following your calling. And I'm not telling you to leave your job. I'm just exploring this idea of finding purpose in your life and working from purpose in your life. And so, that calling, that what am I supposed to be doing? What does God want me to be doing? What was I put on this earth for? The thing, when you find that, you will have alignment and you'll get up in the morning and be just charging forward and want to go forward. And if you're liking what I'm saying, go ahead and like and subscribe. I'd love you to be a subscriber. I'd love your interactions. I'd love you to be asking questions and tell me your experience as well. But a lot of people say to me, Paula, I get it, I don't really love going to my job because it isn't working from my calling. I do get the blues on Monday. I do feel guilty that I don't love my job and all the things. But how do I know what my calling is? I show up at my job because I need the security and I need the money. But how do I know what my calling is? What has God made me for? So there's some clues, some really good clues. And if you're tuning in right now and you're wondering what your calling, what your purpose is, what your God stuff is, what you're supposed to be doing in the name of the Lord, it leaves you clues. There's clues here for you. So your calling, what God wants you to be doing, what you were put on this earth for, gifts and your gifts and talents, one clue is, what is it that excites you? For me, it excites me to be part of people telling me their dreams and helping them figure out how to have their dreams. And if you're working in your calling, it's going to energize you instead of making you feel defeated or I don't want to do it. You're going to be like, yeah, let's go do this. I can't wait to get out of bed. I can't wait to jump out of bed on this Tuesday morning. And it is truly when you're working on your purpose, your Tuesday morning is going to be the same, no matter if you have tons of money or if it's an issue or it isn't. Like if you have a lot of money, if you had that $1 million in your bank account, your Tuesday morning would be the same. It is usually connected to also problems that you like solving. Like for the guy that came to my house, he liked doing the landscaping. The problem of getting rid of those weeds, of making the lawn, cutting it at an angle, making it all look precise and beautiful, which is something I enjoy. I love seeing, but that's not my talent, right? And so for other people, for me, it's solving the problem of what's your purpose? How can I help you find that? How can I help you find more joy and more excitement in your life and feeling like your life means greatness and not just slogging through the day? Do you know that about 98% of all people, of all grown-ups, literally live their life slogging through one activity to another, and I would say, sadly, just kind of waiting until it's all over? You'll hear the language of that, like, I can't wait till I retire. If I didn't have to do this, I would be doing that. That is the language of waiting to get out of whatever you're doing. And if you're spending a lot of time doing something and you're waiting for it to be over, you're kind of wasting your life, right? And that means that it's critical for you or anybody else that has this kind of language, that they figure out some pieces in their life that are giving them more joy and more opportunity to look forward to something. And that is going to be what God wired you to be doing. There isn't one calling. There really isn't. People tend to think my calling is, running a business, or everybody's calling is running their own business. Everybody's calling is, to be a multi-billionaire. That is not the truth. If 10 of you were on here right now, and I ask you what your big dream is, and by the way, that is a clue for what God put that in your mind and your heart, that big dream you have, for a reason. If I asked 10 of you what your big dream and what you really wanted out of life what would be, and I asked 10 of you that, I would get 10 different answers. Yeah, if you won the lottery, you wouldn't go to your job. Yeah, what would you do? Tell me what you do. That's the bigger question. What would you do? Because that's going to give you clues to what really excites you, So, God, there's millions and millions of purpose out there. You're welcome for the pep talk. I'm doing it for me too. I really am. So what people tend to do, like I said, is slog through what what do you say? I would go on a world vacation all around the world. Okay, I want to ask you this question before I go on to the kind of the lies that we're telling ourselves about this purpose thing. Why do you want to go on a world vacation? Why do you want to go all over the world? I don't know if you feel comfortable telling me your name, but thank you for saying this. That's opening up your box of what are you here for? Because that is filling you with joy. That is filling you with excitement, that idea. And that is going to be some real clues as to where God's calling you. And I'm not talking about you have to be a travel agent, but there's going to be some reasons why you want that. And maybe seeing new people, new things. You want to see different places and take cute pictures. I love that. And stuff. I love traveling. It is super fun. I want to have more fun. I love it. So, that can be for you something that you continue to kind of unravel and think about what are the joy pieces in there, because you're really getting, well, thank you. That's so nice. I'm your favorite YouTuber. I hope you've liked and subscribed. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You just filled me up and you just gave me joy. So, that's part of your thing too, right? Thank you. Complimenting. Very nice. So, what we were talking a minute ago before we were talking about doing vacation, and going around the world, and the person's, that's their big desire. I can tell you the truth. I have traveled the world. That's not my calling. I love traveling, but I love staying home more than I love traveling. So this is an example of how God puts those different calls on our hearts, right? You have the call to just travel and take new pictures and see new things. I have the call to stay at home and rest. Yeah. It is really cool. It's super cool. So there's millions and millions and millions of callings. Not everybody's called to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody's called to be a billionaire. Not everybody's called to be whatever. I asked 10 people the question what their big dream is. I will literally get 10 different answers. And that is beautiful. That is beautiful because we're all serving a purpose here. We all fit together. But people tell this big lie, and they know their dream. They know where they want to go. They know what they want to have. They know who they want to be. They know, but they say the big word of someday. I'll pursue it someday. Oh, I'm sorry, you have to leave. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. Come back. Come back soon. Okay, so they say this big word of someday. I'll do it someday. And that the hard part of that is when you have a purpose and you're not acting on it or trying to figure it out or look into it further, it just stays a dream. It can't become a reality. And here's the thing is not, so that happens. It happens to a lot of people. I just said 98% of all people are literally slogging through their life waiting for whatever they're doing to end, to get over with, and looking for someday. So, and a lot of the reason that happens is we haven't figured out how to fund, how to make the money, how to have the money to get what we really want, to be who we want to be. Like the person who just shared, I'd travel the whole world. I'd take cute pictures. You know, I would think that person, and she said she had to leave, that she goes to work with the idea, I'd really rather be traveling. I'm going to try to save some of this money while I'm at my job. Maybe I love my job, but I'm going to try to save up for it because I really would rather be traveling. And then the hard part about it is that, you know, anybody have that stuff, life happens, right? Like, you know, your car breaks down, or you know, your kid gets sick, or you know, whatever it is. I got a car that's breaking down right now, as a matter of fact. Keeping my fingers crossed my air conditioning keeps working because I live in the United States in the South and it's really hot here right now. So, but happening. And so a lot of us have jobs that might even pay really well, but it's not enough to fund that big idea, that big dream. So I love real estate for this reason. And many of you are like, okay, you talk a lot about, you know, your purpose, you talk a lot about God, and you talk about real estate. How does this fit together? This is the reason I do real estate, and I love real estate. Truly, because real estate is not my purpose. My purpose is inspiring you, inspiring me, inspiring you, helping you figure out what your life gifts are, how you could use them, and helping you dream, and then figuring out how to get your dreams. That's my purpose. Real estate for me, I found out a long time ago, is the vehicle. Y'all are tracking this. This is really important to be thinking about. It is not my purpose, and it might not be your purpose either, but it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle because investing in real estate creates profits and income and passive income. And so what it creates is options. Options, income, profits, opportunities, which means it creates freedom. And that freedom with opportunities and money is the vehicle to get you funded to be spending more of your life doing what you were actually created to do. So the person that was on was, wanted to travel the world and wanted to take cute pictures and wanted to experience new things. Investing in real estate, and as opposed to trying to save the money from the job and life happening and it's just someday, that can make that real faster. So much faster. It's a vehicle to being able to spend your time in what you are actually created to do. And this is why I teach real estate investing. It is why I love real estate investing. Not because necessarily I do I love beauty. Absolutely love beauty. I love beauty flowers. I love, my kitchen's beautiful. I had it redesigned. I love living in my house. I have a very simple house, but I want it to be pretty and beautiful. I love the ocean because it's beautiful. I love renovating houses, not because I love houses. I do love creating beauty, but I love the freedom that I have because I invest in real estate. Okay. So it just is the best thing that I've found ever, truly ever, in terms of creating profits and creating opportunities and giving freedom and time and things that you can turn your ideas toward your big dream and be able to fund it the quickest ever. It's the best thing I've ever found, and it works over and over and over again. Now, in real estate investing, it doesn't mean that everything all the time makes $10 million, right? I mean, investing goes like this, and sometimes you kind of dip and then you go back up. But I really want you to think about how this blends with what you're doing now with those Monday blues and your job and the idea that the reason that you don't like necessarily Mondays and you don't like maybe necessarily going to your job is not because your boss is horrible, not because your coworkers stink, not because the traffic and the commute, all of that is real, but it's because you're being called by God to do something else. And your soul is going, wait a minute, why are we spending all our time over here? So the point of today is that getting connected with what it is you really want, what those big dreams are, your dreams and ideas, what you want to be, have, and do are of God. They wouldn't be on your mind if they weren't. I promise you. And so instead of always thinking someday when I retire, someday when I have the money saved, someday, being able to find what that is, that purpose, what you really want, connect with it and use it as your where do you want to go? And then using tools that will allow you the how to get there faster instead of waiting till one day. So you can spend your time in more actively getting what you want in an easier way. All right. So if this hit home for you today, if you've been listening in or you're coming in now, I want to help you with two things. One, like I said, I want to help you discover your North Star. That's what I call your calling. And that is the life that actually fills you up, energizes you, makes you excited. You can't wait to get out of bed for. And even if you had $100 million in your bank, you'd still do. You'd still live that way in your life. That is the first thing I want to help you with, is to figure out what that looks like. What is your purpose? What are you called to be? And where are you called to spend your time so that you have more joy, you have more fun, you have more fulfillment, and it's like God going, finally, she got it, right? And then I want to also be able to show you how real estate, and I'm not doing like a pitch for that, but how I believe that real estate can be the vehicle that funds it very quickly, right? So you don't have to live in someday, slog through, okay? And so I put together this program truly called First Flip Fortune, and it teaches you. So many people don't do real estate or invest or anything like that because they feel confused by it. They don't know what to do or where to put their money or what to buy or all the things. And so this First Flip Fortune challenge that I've put together lead you through 5 days of knowing absolutely how to find a project. It's exactly what myself and my team do every single time, and we do it for other people. We have a done for you program. So I'm teaching you what we do to find the project, to make sure the numbers work, to get the money to do it. And by the way, the longer I teach this, the more that I know there are so many creative ways to fund real estate investing that you don't have to have $100 million to be able to invest. And so I'll teach to that. How do you find the funding? How do you find the resources? And then how do you match this in that same program with what you really want? How do you use it to know where you're going and fund where you want to go? So the Monday blues, they're not your enemy. They're a reality for a lot of people. They're not at all your enemy. Signal for you. And what that means is it's a signal that something inside of you is banging on your heart and wants to come out and wants to be lived in a different way, in a better way, in a joyful way. And I want you to go and be with that voice, be with that calling, because that is your calling, that's your purpose. And don't silence it. Acknowledge it and thank that Monday blues, that uncomfortableness with Monday, because now you can explore, because you feel this, why you're feeling it. What else would you be doing if you had that $100 million and you wouldn't go to work, right? That is the voice that's calling you. And I want you to learn how to fund it and have it, so you're not waiting until you retire, waiting until the kids grow up, waiting until you start the business, because it'll never happen. You'll just be waiting, and you'll be one of the 98% that's slogging through. So why not be one of the 2% that's really living and really serving God and really serving other people, because your calling is always, always about serving other people, whether you know it or not. So if you're interested in exploring the First Flip Fortune challenge that I mentioned, I'm over 5 days. We're starting July the 13th, and it'll be 5 days. If you come to the VIP, if you participate as a VIP in that, and I'll be with you live on Zoom, and I will teach you step by step, how do you think about real estate? How do you find the projects? How do you invest in it? How do you find the money? All of those things. I'll put the information to find out more about that in the show notes, below. And otherwise, I want you to think about, why are you feeling this uncomfortableness with the Monday morning or the Tuesday morning or the Wednesday morning on your way to work, on your way to commuting, and all the things? And stop blaming your boss, your job, all the things, but actually celebrate it, because it's God knocking at your heart telling you, hey, wake up, think about this. What is it that's inside of you that you really want? And if you can't get a hold of that, you don't know what that is, I'd also like to connect with you and help you through that path process, okay? Finding what your real calling is. So glad to be with you tonight. It was just so much fun to talk about this and blend this together on the Monday, right? And I'm Paula Bohland, and I hope you'll tune in again. I hope you tell other people. I hope you'll share this if this meant something to you. If you want to get into that First Flip Fortune Challenge, I'll put the link in the notes in just a minute. Just thought about it while I was talking to you. And then I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow for another live. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, if you like this content. And I will talk to you soon. It's evening time, my time, and I'm going to go make my son dinner. We'll talk soon.